r/AskReddit. What moment in video games made you go duck this? When you can't skip the cool intro, when you load the game for the 50th damn time. Every game should have a checkbox in the options for let me skip the intro. Related, every goddamn Bethesda RPG needs an option that unlocks after you've played the intro once to skip it. The ducking game gives you a pop-up to change everything about your character anyway right when you exit. So it's not like it'd matter. I hate that ducking cart ride so much. Man. Edit, yes. I know that there's mods for it. I'm just making the point that I shouldn't need a mod for something this goddamn basic that's been an issue since Oblivion. Then again, this is Bethesda, so I'm not sure why I still expect anything from them. Dude, that's why they made a quick save right at the character creation. There was a particular room in Dead Space 2 that endlessly spawned enemies. I did not realize they were endlessly spawning until I tried to clear the room for like 2 hours. Died so many times. Used all my ammo, etc. Once I realized I could just run through the room, I was so pissed at myself for wasting that much time. The fact that this part of the game isn't more frequently referenced is a testament to how much of an idiot I am. Everybody else figured it out. Nope, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I did the same damn thing. Maybe not for 2 hours, but at least 20-30 minutes. Glad I'm not the only one. Playing Castlevania on Northeasts. Worked so hard to get to Dracula. Eventually was able to beat him with 2 bubbles of health left. I was like, yes. Duck you. Then the Methodica turned into his demon form and killed me. I was not aware of this. Said duck it. Never played it again. Also in that game the whole way leading up to death, that has like 6 axe knights in it can eat a Reich as well. I wanna say there are also a steady stream of Medusa heads at the same time, but it's been some years. The holy water makes short work of those duckers. Same with fighting Frankenstein's monster and Igor. But I can't remember if I had the boomerang at that point or not. Spore. You spend hours going from unicellular life form to build a galactic empire. But your empire only has one ducking ship that you control. Wanna explore the universe? Too bad. As soon as you're 10 stars away from your nearest colony, pirates attack them, or they have an ecosystem disaster. The best part of the game, it's the unicellular level. I was just introduced to Stellaris, and it feels like what the space stage of Spore could have been. Rather than controlling one single ship, you can raise as many fleets as you can support. And the resources and technology are much more in depth. The problem is every game feels like what an individual part of Spore could have been. It's 4 fairly poor games instead of 1 good game. Having to bust out and defend Natalia in Goldeny when the Ice kept walking in front of the bullets you were firing. The mission she has to type on the computer and you have to protect her was so frustrating. I eventually found a spot to sit in and shoot them as they popped up. But I ended up having to memorize the exact moment they would all show up, otherwise she'd die. So frustrating. I found train level on 00 Agent more frustrating, as you had to wait until 10 seconds to get off the train in order to complete all objectives, and if Natalia didn't instantly follow you off, 5% of the time, she would die in the explosion. XCOM. 99% chance to hit a shotgun blast from 2 spaces away. Miss. I think they should just change the animation in those instances to make the gun jam or the character fumble. It would be more believable. Gun jams. Character looks down the barrel to see what's up and shoots themselves in the face. My Morrowind save got corrupted after many hundreds of hours. When I was 11, I played through Morrowind for the first time on Xbox. Since I didn't have a PC or fast internet at the time, I couldn't look up cheats or guides and had to learn a deep RPG from scratch. My parents also didn't trust giving out credit card numbers or anything like that, so I couldn't buy the game online. I had to continually rent the game from video library across town with lawn mowing money, birthday money, etc. For a year, I died just about every time I tried combat, so I was relegated to traveling to each town to scour each house, item, and container just to steal and resell. I eventually became a master thief and had gotten into every area and container known that was part of civilized areas. About the time I started figuring out combat and potions. My parents would call brick and mortar stores and finally found a copy in one of the bigger city stores and bought it for me. Then I was balls out. This game turned me into the joke of what a gamer is: famished, pale, reclusive. I was a perfectionist. I went into every cave and container along my way during quests. My friends bought the game, and we would share secrets like finding underwater statues that give you legendary swords. I was too stupid to figure out where the Dwemer puzzle box was, so I never advanced in the main quest. The next couple years were spent doing every other faction possible, and every side quest. Finally I found the box, and all that was left was main quest and vampire faction. I got about 2/3 of the way towards finishing the main story before it happened. I was under the bro science impression that the more saves you had, the slower the game would load. So periodically I would go through and delete everything but the most recent save. One day I was rolling through with my god-like character and it just so happened to be when I cleaned up my saves, but the power went out during a save on that character. Didn't think anything of it. Booted it back up the next day and I was devastated. My one save was corrupted. I had never put so much money, time, or work into finding a game or playing one. I had finally mastered something that was hard. It might be the biggest gut punch of my young life. I couldn't bring myself to start over. I couldn't bring myself to even look at video games. Then GOTY edition came out. Edit, Wealth Beyond Measure Outlander. Thanks for the golden septim, stranger. I still play the game every couple of years, by the way. This experience never ruined my love for it. Just had to take a duck this break for a year or so. TBF. The puzzle box is hard to find. 11-year-old me was very frustrated looking for it. Worst part is, before they patched this, if you raided that place before you got the quest, you found the puzzle box, thought it was interesting, picked it up, put it someplace, and never saw it again. When I had played several hours on high difficulty into Doom 3 without saving, and then a friend accidentally bumped the power button on the extension cord, turning the computer off. I assume that person is now deceased. Just missing. All we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ. I'll have 2 number 9s. A number 9 large. A number 6 with extra dip. A number 7. 2 number 45s. 1 with cheese. And a large soda. You're now aware that he was buying time so the ballers could attack them. The third time it prompted me for a macro transaction. I was pretty excited about Final Fantasy Brave Exvius until this started happening. This is a side argument, but I really feel Japan has lost its way in gaming these days. A lot of developers seem to want to shift and focus mostly on mobile games, and it's so disappointing. Not being able to beat Super Mario Bros. As an adult. I've never been able to beat the original Super Mario Bros. Game. Couldn't as a kid. Every few years I try again but fail. I'm not an avid gamer or anything, but my inability to beat this game haunts me. I've beaten every other Mario game that I've played through 64, which I'm one of the only people alive who doesn't like Mario 64. But the first one is impossible for me. I can't get past 8, 2 or 8, 3. I don't remember which level. Edit, it's probably too late to do it now and have people see it. But here are some of the reasons that I don't like Super Mario 64. I think the camera sucks. The controls are wonky a lot of the time, especially flying. It forces you to replay levels, which is bullet. And I don't think the level designs are all that interesting or fun. I'm sure there are other things, if I thought more. But those are the major ones. If I'm not Fire Mario by the end of 8, 2. I just switch it off and don't bother because it ain't ducking happening. Duck those Hammer Brothers on the ducking ground. Glitch deaths. It's one thing to lose your progress, but when it's not even your fault. Your save file is corrupted. I had a 32 megabytes memory card on my PS2 that I had a bunch of saves on, including my final, third and actually final, completionist FF12 file on. I think I had 1 or 2 hunts left and 1 ESPR to get and I'd be done. Booted it up one day and for some reason my memory card was corrupted and had to be reformatted. Erasing everything. Haven't touched it or my library of PS2 games since. Also, isn't it crazy that 32 megabytes was a huge memory card then? Now I regret getting the 500 megabytes PS4 instead of the 1TB. Edit obviously meant 500 GB and mistyped. You're missing the point of 32 megabytes is big and 500 GB isn't enough within a decade and a half. Games that think more stuff to do means more fun. I hate having to run around the map looking for 500 different puzzle pieces. It instantly kills a game for me. Then why would you be playing Banjo-Kazooie in the first place? Man, somehow Banjo-Kazooie just did it right. I loved collecting every little piece of everything in that game. I generally hate it in every other game though. Riddler trophies can duck right off. Whenever there is big action coming up in any online game and you get a lag spike. Edit, holy it. This blew up overnight. Just gonna say I feel all of your pain with lag moments. When the game freezes and when it resumes you're dead and in the kill cam you're running in place. To this point, some of my deaths in Diablo 3 on PC will show my death marker completely outside the line of an AoE or attack that killed me. I don't know how many times I've been like, but I'm not even standing in the poison. Ducking like and subscribe.